Well, we're back right here in the studio, and I hope everyone out there is having a very nice evening. We have with us right now His Excellency Olivier Gauvin, the French Ambassador to the State of Kuwait. Your Excellency, welcome to our program, Hala Kuwait.
Good evening. Thank you, Tarek.
It's a pleasure to have you with us.
Pleasure for me.
Your Excellency, on July 14th, His Highness the Emir of the State of Kuwait, Sheikh Mish'al Al-Ahmed Al-Jabr Al-Sabah, may Allah protect and bless him, visited Paris, France for the Bastille Day, a milestone in Kuwait-French relations. Can you please elaborate a little bit more on this historic visit, sir?
Yeah, definitely. Look, this visit was a historic visit. It was the first time ever a Kuwaiti Emir participated in the National Day celebrations, which are held every year in Paris on the 14th of July. So the Bastille Day, as you know, is a very specific and a very important event in the life of our nation because it reflects the French tradition and the beginning of, I would say, the modern France, when the French people in 1789 decided to, for their freedom, to take the jail of Bastille. So that very famous jail, Bastille, fell down, and it was the beginning of the French Revolution. So this very moment epitomizes, you know, the aspirations of our people for freedom.
Yeah, it's a very significant day, the Bastille Day, for the French people.
Yeah, it is. And that's why having His Highness participating in this celebration was very important to us. It was a great honor to welcome here on that very special occasion. But it was not only about, you know, the celebrations. It was also, of course, about the working lunch that His Highness had at the Élysée Palace on the invitation of the French President Emmanuel Macron. The two heads of state shared about 2.5 hours of, you know, very focused and in-depth discussion about the relationship between our two countries. So you can guess how important it is in the life of our two nations to have this unique opportunity for the leaders to discuss privately and in-depth mutual topics of interest.
Your Excellency, let's say now, in your view, how does this visit boost the already strong friendship and bilateral relations between the two countries?
Look, this visit, I think, to take the word you used, is a milestone because it gives a new impetus and it's really a new momentum to this relationship. Because in all fields, economy and business, security and defense, culture and education, but also health, for example, to name a few, there will be
we'll talk a bit later in detail about those.
Please,
sir.
There will be new projects. The two leaders, the two heads of state, discussed that in depth. And now, you know, they pave the way for more cooperation between our two countries in all these fields. And on the same occasion, two agreements were signed in Paris on that very same day, on the 14th of July. One of the agreements is dedicated to a strategic investment partnership between our two countries for the 2025-2035 period.
Okay.
So for the next 10 years. That's very important. The other one is dedicated to improving, strengthening our cooperation in the field of culture. So you can see that we've got very promising, I would say, substance for more cooperation.
Yeah, it looks like these hopefully will be very fruitful for both nations, Mr. Ambassador. And you mentioned, you touched on a little bit about, you know, defense, economy, trade, cultural activities. Yeah. So can you elaborate a little bit about this relationship in terms of, let's start out with economy and trade a little bit. Start out with that, please.
Yeah, economy and trade is very important between our two countries. We've got many French companies which are very much interested in Kuwait. I just give you an example. A few months ago, our trade minister had planned a visit to Kuwait, and he was supposed to come with 30 French companies. It gives you an indication of the interest of French companies for Kuwait. Unfortunately, due to the international context, nothing to do with Kuwait, he had to postpone the visit. So inshallah, he will come later this year.
We look forward to that
visit.
But
it's a very interesting indication. If you can, you know, get on board 30 companies, and big companies, medium-sized companies, even sometimes small companies, it means a lot. That's the first point. Then I want to say that the Kuwait 2035 vision aligns with a vision of we have in France. It's France 2030.
Okay,
so
tell us more about that, please, Your Excellency.
So basically, our two countries, our leaders, decided to think ahead for their countries.
Okay.
And both of them are planning to develop big projects in different sectors. So artificial intelligence, transportation, smart cities, energy transition also, digital transition as well, health, I mean, many other fields. So basically what we're trying to do is to match these two visions, the 2035 Kuwait vision and the 2030 vision for France, and to find common ground for cooperation in, you know, all the issues I mentioned.
And now, Your Excellency, maybe talk a little bit about defense.
Yeah.
Tell our audience a little bit about that in terms of the collaboration and that so forth.
As you know, defense is at the heart of our relationship, because France was fighting side by side with Kuwait in the Liberation War. And since that, and actually even before that, we had a very, very close military relationship, military cooperation.
Yes.
So basically it translates into very concrete things, such as common drills, military drills, also some training for the Kuwaiti officers. Many of them go to France to study, and to be trained, military school, and they come back to Kuwait. And of course we've got many other projects we can work on. And
another topic, education. Could you elaborate a little bit about that, Mr. Ambassador, for our audience watching right now, please?
Look, Tarek, education is definitely a strong point of our cooperation.
Priority,
yeah, a strong priority. I just give you a few numbers.
Please tell us.
In Kuwait, we've got 1,400 teachers of French language.
Excellent.
1,000 in the public sector, 400 in the private sector. Altogether, another number, altogether 40,000 kids in Kuwait study French every year. So
that's a big number, actually.
That's quite a big number.
In terms of the teachers also.
Exactly, exactly. So what we're trying to do is to support these efforts of the Kuwaiti educational system, of our Kuwaiti partners, to promote the French language, to teach the French language. So it means training the teachers, it means supporting what the public and private Kuwaiti schools do, and it means as well strengthening what the French lycée International is doing in Kuwait. We've got 1,200 kids at the French lycée in Kuwait.
Amazing.
And we just opened this year a new international section. So it means you get your kid there, Tarek, and in 3 years, after high school, you will have an international baccalaureate, which will give him or her opportunities to access directly the best universities and higher educational institutions, not only in Europe, but also, for example, in the US and in the UK. So I'm talking Ivy League, I'm talking, you know, the best business schools.
Most prestigious universities all over.
Exactly, exactly. So that's what we're trying to do.
Excellent, excellent, Mr. Ambassador. And, you know, another topic that also comes to mind, and you see a lot of people who have different health issues and health problems in the state of Kuwait going to France for treatment. Well-known and world-renowned hospitals, doctors and specialists in France. Elaborate a little bit more for our audience about that, please.
We've got in France, you're right, very prominent health institutions, public or private, whatever. I'm thinking about l'Institut Gustave Roussy, but also l'Institut Curie, also Hôpital Foch, and there are many others. What we are trying to develop here, or I would say to consolidate, is, you know, very specific cooperations between those institutions and Kuwaiti institutions, because we're trying to match the needs and expectations of the Kuwaiti patients. That's what we're discussing now with our Kuwaiti counterparts.
Excellent, Mr. Ambassador, and it's a pleasure to have you with us right now. We're going to be taking a short break right now, and then be back with our distinguished guest, His Excellency, the Ambassador of France to the State of Kuwait. So stay tuned. Thank you. Well, we're back right here in the studio, and I hope everyone out there is enjoying their evening. If you're just tuning in, our guest is His Excellency Olivier Gauvin, French Ambassador to the State of Kuwait. Your Excellency, we were talking a little bit earlier about the bilateral exchanges and so forth. We went through economy and trade.
Yes.
We went through defense, health, and so forth. So now we'd like to talk a little bit about cultural exchanges, please, Mr. Ambassador.
Yeah, culture is an important pillar of this bilateral relationship. As you know, last year, in 2024, we had a big concert here in Kuwait with the Orchestre International Philharmonique de Paris. It was 2 nights, if you remember.
Yes.
Every night, the room was full, 800 people every time. So we are working now on more cultural events for the year to come and the end of 2025 as well, of course. We are working on different ideas. I cannot tonight reveal
Give us an exclusive,
anything.
Mr. Ambassador.
We are working on some, I would say we're working again on some musical event.
Okay, great.
We are working as well on something more related to technology, artificial intelligence.
That seems to be the wave now of the future.
Exactly. We're working on something which is very important in Kuwait and in between our 2 countries, archaeology.
Oh, very nice.
And 2026 will be a very special year in that regard because our 2 countries will celebrate the 65th anniversary of their diplomatic relationship.
Okay.
So on that very specific occasion, we're contemplating organizing with our Kuwaiti partners as many events as possible.
Well, we look forward to that, and please keep us updated on the latest whenever you like.
And yeah, thank you. And I suggest that to your viewers,
Yes.
that they have a look at the website of the French Institute in Kuwait,
Okay.
because it's updated on a weekly basis, and it will give them many information.
They can see
much
all the different
information.
events and activities
Exactly.
coming up. Great to hear that. And Your Excellency, could you tell our audience a little bit now about the Francophonie, please?
Francophonie is very vivid in Kuwait. I have to say it was a very good surprise to me.
Yes.
I was not expecting such lively Francophonie in this country.
Great.
Yeah, that's very good news. So it's lively for some of the reasons I mentioned before, many French teachers in Kuwait.
Yes.
And also because there is a strong support and friendship from Kuwaiti people for the French culture and the French language. And I would just give you one example. For example, we've got a steady support from prominent members of the Al-Sabah family, such as Sheikh Nasser al-Mohammed al-Sabah, but others as well. But for example, he has been constantly supporting what we do to promote Francophonie in Kuwait. So it just gives you an indication, once again, of this very specific landscape of the Francophonie in Kuwait. So this year, as the previous years, we will organize with our partners, Kuwaiti partners, but also partners from all countries, all continents.
Yes.
Some Francophone diwaniyas.
Look forward to that, yeah.
Yeah, so for example, Tunisian Diwania, French Diwania, Belgium Diwania, Canadian Diwania.
All the French-speaking countries, let's
exactly.
say. Okay.
And even more. So that will be something. And then we are working also on some special events.
Excellent. Also, keep us updated, please.
Definitely, I will.
Mr. Ambassador. And the French Embassy, as we were talking earlier, the French language seems to be, being promoted very well here. You gave us some numbers of the amount of teachers, students, and so forth. Tell us more about the French language programs in the state of Kuwait, sir. Yeah.
So the French Institute is welcoming all Kuwaiti people. I mean, very young people, adults.
Excellent.
Whoever
would like to learn.
We've got, specific classes adapted to your expectations, to your level, of course. You can get individual lessons if you prefer. You can get collective lessons if you want. It depends on you. So there are many options. I strongly suggest you visit either the website or even better, you go and visit the French Institute in Jabriya.
All right, that's a great bit of advice there to learn about the French language as well as the activities. And you said there's some cultural activities that are being planned in the upcoming months. You didn't want to give us any specifics, Mr. Ambassador, but is there anything you'd like to say more on that, please, that are coming up? Because cultural, exchange programs always bring people closer together.
Yeah, definitely. What I can tell you is that basically we're trying to connect the dots. What I mean is that the French language is only a door. It's a door to a culture,
Yes.
to ideas, to other countries, to other people. So we are trying to connect this language to all kinds of opportunities. You're a student, you want to go and study in France, it will be the door for your studies.
Exactly.
But you're a businessman, a businesswoman, and the French language might give you more business opportunities.
Sure.
The same, in the science, research, tech fields, for everything. So what we're trying to do is to make sure that the language is not only a language.
Okay.
It's a tool for you to access, what is the best interest for you.
Amazing. Great to hear that. And Mr. Ambassador, we were talking before we came on air. You've been now the ambassador right here in the state of Kuwait about a year or so.
A year.
So tell our viewers your impressions of the country so far this past year.
I do like, even I do love Kuwait because of its people. I have to say in this country, even more than everywhere, probably I've been before, everything is based not on institutions, on official events, but on personal relationships, on friendship, on trust. And that's what I like with Kuwaiti people, because you can take time to build a one-to-one relationship,
Yes.
and from that trust, after that you can do basically a lot. You can do everything.
Sure.
That's why, as an ambassador, as a diplomat, it's a very challenging but very rewarding job, because you are facing people who are willing to be open to you. Basically, they want to reciprocate.
Sure.
In some countries it's a bit more challenging, but here in Kuwait, it's easy because people want to engage with you.
Well, we're
So
very happy to hear that,
that's
Mr.
a
Ambassador.
very strong point of Kuwait.
Well, we're very happy to hear that, and we wish you continued success during your tenure as ambassador right here in the state of Kuwait. And Mr. Ambassador, as we're wrapping up tonight's interview, do you have any last words for the audience watching Hala Kuwait tonight?
Yes, what I would like to say is that His Highness' visit to France on the 14th of July, our National Day, was obviously a mark of respect, of appreciation for the long-standing relationship we have with Kuwait. It also reflects the deep-rooted connections between our two peoples, not only the countries, not only the states, but also the peoples. That's why I'm inviting all Kuwaiti people to come and visit France. A lot of them do that already, because France is the first Schengen destination for Kuwaiti tourists.
Yes.
But more can come, and what I want to say to them is that France, it's about everything. It's fun, it's culture, it's business, it's studies, it's science, technologies. You want to sport, you can sport. You
Cuisine
can
also.
Gastronomy, of course. You can have everything except boredom.
That's very well said, Mr. Ambassador.
Thank you.
And with that, we conclude tonight's interview. It was a pleasure to have you on our program, Hala Kuwait.
Thank you
and
so
please
much.
consider this your program. You're welcome at any time. And we wish yourself and all your colleagues at the embassy all the best in your future endeavors. Thank you for coming, sir.
Thank you, Mashkour.
Thank you. We'd like to thank our distinguished guest, His Excellency Olivier Gauvin, the French ambassador to the state of Kuwait, for his time with us this evening right here on Hala Kuwait. Right now we're going to be moving on to our next report this evening, so stay tuned.